Hello, welcome to Jerome B. Farm and Homestead. This video is going to be a product review on this CenTech 5010-2 battery charger. I got this at Harbor Freight, and I think it was $26 with the coupon. So for that type of charger, that's a pretty good price. I also have a Schlumberger here. It's a 7512-2, so it's a little bit higher capacity charger. I did have a 5010-2, but one of my neighbors borrowed it. That moved away and he didn't give it back, so I got this new one here to replace that. So I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on mainly the Harbor Freight one here. This Schlumberger charger, I'm sorry, not Schlumberger, Schumacher charger here is top quality and it works really good. One thing I noticed about this charger from Harbor Freight is if you're going to do the 2 amp charge at the slow speed, it's pretty good for that. But the 10 amp, it has a problem. If you got a battery that's fairly low, it'll trip out. It'll crowbar the circuit for overcurrent protection. And on 50 amps, it may as well not even be there, because as soon as you flip it to 50, it's just a few seconds or almost instantaneously, it'll just cut itself off. So where this Schumacher will, it'll put out 75 amps for quite a while before it'll crowbar and shut itself off. The reason they do that is to protect the transformer in there so they don't burn out. What I'm suspecting on this CenTech version is I've seen a lot of reviews, a lot of bad reviews on it about how it quit working, it would burn up. I suspect that they modified the crowbar circuit, made it a little more sensitive so there's not as much current running out of that transformer and burning those out. So it works good at 2 amps, 10 amps, it's about 50% duty cycle, depending on how low your battery is. And I'll give you a shot of that here in a second. And 2 amps, it works just fine. So I've got 2 batteries here. I've got a deep cycle and another 12-volt battery I use to run electric fences. And they've been running for about, this has been going for about a month, and this one's been going probably 3 weeks. So I'm going to put the CenTech on the smaller battery and the Schumacher on the bigger battery, and we'll give it a shot, and I'll see if I can demonstrate what I'm talking about, this CenTech cutting out and crowbarring on you. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is the power cord lengths. So I laid them out here side by side. You can see they're pretty much the same. So Harbor Freight didn't cheap out on their power cords. The quality of the clamps looks pretty good on the CenTech. You can see they're copper, they're fairly heavy duty. Springs good strength. On the Schumacher, it's a lot heavier spring, a lot tighter. It's a wider clamp, and they're not copper. They're silver colored, but it may be a tin plated copper, I don't know. That is, so I would say the Schumacher clamps are better quality, a lot heavier duty crimp in there. And this is a lot smaller crimp in here. Don't know that that really matters. The gauge of the wire looks to be about the same. This says it's 12 gauge. This says it's 14 gauge. So a little bit smaller wire. But again, this is a bigger capacity. It goes up to 75, and this only goes up to 50 amps. So it is a little bit lighter capacity charger. And the way it performs, it's way lighter. So let's hook them up and see how it performs. Okay. It's set on 2 amps right now. And I can hear it humming. Oops. So, one good thing about this charger, has an amp meter or a charge level. I hate those chargers that just have lights on them. So you can see it's got a, if you connect it backwards, it'll tell you. So this one isn't on all the time. It doesn't connect till it senses the right voltage. And it's an automatic charger, so when it gets full, it'll turn green. So let's bump it up to 10 amps. And it also has a regular and AGM style, so I've got it set on regular. So one thing that strikes me odd is at 2 amps, you can see it shows between 50 and 75% charged. You put it on 10 amps, and it's not doing it now. It was way down at 0, like it was cranking out a lot of amperage. So that was kind of a strange thing, anomaly. So let's bump it, well, let's leave it there for a second and see if it'll crowbar out. I'll time lapse this section here. Okay, it's been running for almost a minute and it hasn't crowbarred out. So if it hasn't done it by now, it's not going to. Let's bump it up to the 50 amp, the emergency engine start level, and we'll see what it does there. See, here's what I'm talking about. It's crowbarring and kicking out at about a 50% duty cycle. So if you wanted to start your engine, even if this was a lawnmower, it's not putting out much. And it'll do this at the 10 amp level, just not as fast. It'll trip out and then it'll come back. So I will put the Schumacher on the same battery. I'll switch the CenTech over to this deep cycle here. See if it'll trip out on it. There, it's pegged over to the right, giving out as much current as it can, so we'll see if it'll trip out. But let's put this Schumacher on here. Let's see, where do we have it? We've got it on 2 amps and regular battery. So you got a light here that says it's powered on and it's going. It says it's between 50 and 75% charge. And when it gets to full charge, it'll kick off and your green light will come on there. So this one seems to be holding at the 10 amps on this big battery. I'll zoom into this screen here. So I'm going to kick it up to 12 amps. So it did a little bit the same as that one did. It when you put it on a higher current, it shows it's less charged. I didn't remember battery chargers ever doing that. I guess they do. So it's holding steady there. I'm going to put it on the 75% engine start, and we'll see if it crowbars like this CenTech does. Well, it did. So it's not giving the 75 amps. So let's see what the CenTech does on the deep cycle. So the CenTech's connected to the deep cycle battery, and we're going to put it on 50 amps. And it's holding. We'll see how long it holds. It just kicked out. There it goes. So this is the CenTech on the deep cycle battery, 50 amps. It's running about a 50% duty cycle. So let's switch to the Schumacher on the big battery and see what it does. Put this down on 2. We'll switch them. So the Schumacher's on 12, and I'm going to switch it to 50 or 75. It won't do it. Interesting. So there you have it. I always talk good about these Schumacher chargers, but it won't even kick on to the 50 amp, 75 amp. It's holding the 12 fine. I suspect what might be the issue with this not kicking on, I'm running about 75 foot of cord out here, and they're both plugged into the same one. So, and it's not a very heavy gauge cord. I have had this out on that pickup right there that's got a diesel truck that's got 2 batteries in it, and it would hold the 75 for a little while till it kicked out. This one wouldn't even hold the 50 at all, which it doesn't for very long on these batteries here. So I put it back on this smaller battery, and it's holding it longer. It's on 50 amp right now. There, it just tripped out. So I guess me bad-mouthing this CenTech, it performs better than I thought it would. I have had it run on the 10 amp setting, and it cycles. And it was on that diesel pickup back there that has the 2 big batteries in it. So it is a decent charger. It won't trip out at all in the 2 amp setting, and it is an automatic charger. So for 26 bucks, I think it's worth $26. Would I buy one again? Probably for another backup. If it went out, I'd probably go buy another one. Schumacher, even though it won't kick in on the 75, I know it's a good quality charger and has a good transformer in it. In fact, I had one smoking one time because I had a bad ground and it was feeding AC back through the transformer. Happened to be on that pickup. The heater on that truck that you plug in, the ground and neutral must be swapped, because as soon as I plugged that in to AC current, the truck heater, the block heater, smoke started coming out of my 50 amp Schumacher, and I used that thing for years after that until my neighbor run off with it. So anyway, I hope you like the review. I like Harbor Freight stuff. I shop there quite a bit. They do have some stuff that's just junk, but they do have a lot of good value stuff. And I think this charger is one of them. So give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.